What's happening? Just see if some people join. It's the middle of the day, so I'm not expecting a lot of people to join, but yeah, see if some people come in. What's happening? Karam always first in, last to leave, and Anthony. I don't know if he's still here. All right, so yeah, if you're watching this after the stream, I am just going to showcase some of my releases. So the first one will be the release with Colorize called I Miss You, and then the other one is Use with Monstercat Silk, which has been my most successful release to date. It's reached over 500,000 streams on Apple Music, and it's still in one of the editorial playlists on there, which is great. So it's doing really, really well. So I'm going to show that one after this. Yeah, what's up, Marwin? Marwen, even. Need a new rug. This chair. There we go. All right, I think I'll just start. I'm not really expecting a huge amount of people in here. So, yeah, let's play a bit of the track. Oh, I should probably check, is the audio all good? It looks all good to me. I'll just check this audio. I'm guessing that's all good as well. Just turn it down a little bit. Hello, Pato. Thanks for joining. So much noise in the background. Strange, because the mic doesn't look like it is. I wonder if... Any better? Or that? Is that better? Thank you very much, man. Like static sound. Shit. Let me see if I can hear it. Oh, I can't hear it for some reason. Let me see if... I'll just plug out my mic and see if that helps. Yo, 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 yo. That should be better. I'm now going for a different interface. Yeah, it would have been the ground loop from my Behringer. Better? I see someone said nice. That's better. Okie dokie. Happy days. Thank you for letting me know. Sorry about that. Well, I'm not really sorry. Fuck you guys. Okay, cool. So let's go from... Where should we go from? Maybe the main drop. We'll go through the bridge. In fact, yeah, let me just try and gate my mic, see if that will help. Why can't I look at the filters? Edit filters. Gain. Let me take the compressor off. I think the compressor is bringing it out quite a lot. Noise gate. There we go. Okay. Don't know. Hello, hello, hello. Yo, now really gated. Sorry, guys. Yo. Yo, 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 yo. Yo. 1, 2. Hello, hello, hello. I think that should be better. But hey ho, the track's going to be playing, so it should be all good. Alright, so let's go from, this bridge, yeah? So that's the track on Colorize Records. It came out, I can't remember. I think in the summer on a compilation on their what's it called? Color set. I don't know. On a big mix compilation. It's done pretty well. Not as well as I thought it would because it's like my favorite track. But I think that's kind of down to Colorize. If I'm being honest, they don't promote overly well compared to like Monstercat Silk. But you know, it had a really good response, and people seem to have loved it, which is really nice. The mic's a bit quiet now. Okay, 1 second. Yo, yo, yo. Hello. There we go. Should be nice and loud. So what would people like to see first? I guess I will just start from like the top down. I'll just show you this, what I've got, where I've separated the vocal and the everything else. And that was just because I'm doing like transition things, like taking away the low end and stuff. And I really wanted the vocal to still come out, especially on this drop. I really want that. I don't want it to be. I don't want it to be filtered or anything like that. I want it to come through nice and clear. And so I just wanted all the other elements to be filtered essentially. So let's go. The kick is just a kick that I use all the time. I think I just replaced this now. It was actually a different kick, but it's probably like very similar. Just a nice punchy kick. That's the drum pattern. nothing exciting there. I haven't really even messed around with the velocity, which I think I probably would have done now with like these little in-between kicks. But that's it. Nothing really changes on the kick, and I don't think I've done much special processing, just a bit of EQ and a tuner to get it in key. And then we've got the Moog. This is the bass. So I can't really show you what I did for the Moog. I've done a bunch of processing. 2 compressors, 2 saturators, 2 EQs, sidechain compression, and then an auto filter. But this is the bass. Whoa, it's a beast. I might actually be able to show you the patch because I think it automatically comes up when I load up the Moog. It's I've tried to emulate it actually with like Diva, and you just can't get that same tone, which I'm kind of glad about, because otherwise it'd be like, what's the point in having the Moog? Where is it? Rex. Rex on Rex on Rex. That's disgusting. That it's the not the sub fatty, but I think it was like base of that. It's a subsequent 25, which I have here. Ooh. Yeah, so that beast, I got that for my 30th birthday off all of my family, which was really nice. Like all my family, my girlfriend, they chipped in and bought it me for my 30th birthday, which was really like a really, really nice gift. I think it's either this patch or it's this something like Fifth, Sexy Fifth. It's literally just like two sawtooths, but one's tuned to the fifth. But coming out of the Moog, it just sounds really, really nice. All right, moving on. Does anybody want to see the processing or no? Probably not. If you do, just stop me and I'll show you. I'm not sure what this is. Let's have a listen. It just looks like it's like a white noise effect, just like a ride that. Yeah, man, it's very good that you can tweak it in the plugin, because you can do more stuff in there as well, which is handy. Adami, what's happening? Is that a yes that you would like to see the processing, or we'll move on though until he answers. So we got music stuff, which is just the ARPs and the Korg. I've got some stuff from the Korg here. So the lead and the ARP and things like that are made from Complete Control, which is the keyboard that I have here, which is the A49 through Native Instruments, and then I'm going through. You want to see the processing? All right, I'll come back to it. So then, what was I going to say? So I just found some nice like mallet things that kind of complemented each other and have different tones. So in this whole lead group, they are being processed with an EQ, strong EQ, just taking out any harsh frequencies, going through this Puke Child compressor, which I use quite a lot. I think I just bought this, so I was using it on everything. This SciQ, which I use to push out a bit of the top end, and then an imager, so I'm just pushing it out wide to the sides. I think that's just kind of make room for the bass. So let's have a listen to the different layers. I can unfreeze them if you want, but I think it might mess up my CPU, and then we'd have to wait for it to unfreeze, so we'll see. Oh. So that's one layer, which is like kind of ugly on its own. It's got a nice tone, but it's got this like weird. But I tried to gate it. You can see here, I tried to gate it so I just got like the nice parts of the sound. So I gated it to itself, and it's just got some compression and stuff like that. And it's made with the Kinect or something like that. I think I can unfreeze it and then freeze it quite quickly actually. So we'll have a look. And this is just, I think I just got native. I've got this this what's it called? I can't remember what it's called. Like the bundle. I just got it, so I was trying to figure out, like, play around with all the different sounds, and this is what I found. This weird Kinect thing. It's really cool. It's got some like really nice tone to it, and I think I just played around with the parameters, but I was trying to figure out how to use it. It's pretty confusing, but I think you just like adjust the things essentially. But cool. So that's the Kinect, and then there's this Spark which actually runs through the whole track. So this is the start. And I'll be honest, I have no idea how this plugin works. It looks so confusing. I think I did change it though. It was definitely I worked from some preset. I think like this preset. And then I think I just changed the pitch of it a little bit. And because it's basically FM that's creating the bell sound from it. And so I just adjusted it and tuned it. And I remember spending quite a bit of time with it and going back to the track and really trying to get it to sound nice. And then I EQ'd it quite strongly because it was quite a nasty sound, or at least like just didn't need this. Oh well, it's filtered here anyway, but I just didn't need any of the top information. I just wanted that nice kind of unique tone to it. It's going through a reverb, quite strong, and a bit of an EQ. The EQ is just really like, I think it was just a bit sharp. Just here, it was a bit painful. Yeah, so I just EQ'd that out. Very difficult to automate, program, or just work out what the hell does it. Yeah, like, yeah, if you just look at this, it's like, what the fuck? It's like they've tried to make it look complicated, but it can get some really cool sounds out of this, like really like weird ring mod FM kind of tones. All right, so let's move on to the next thing. If I can just freeze it. Then there's this wood element. So this is panned to the left, so you see like the connect one is panned to the right, and the spark thing is right down the middle. And so I'm using the arpeggiator on my keyboard to play the pattern. It's just a sequencer that I've got within the keyboard, which is just giving the just a really nice pattern. So yeah, that's making up this like kind of nice texture that comes in kind of on like the drop 2.0. And you can barely really like tell it's there, but it's adding just another layer to the sound really. And I was just really trying to build around that same melody, but with all these different layers. So I've got this Diva patch, which is this techie bass stab. I've probably changed it quite a bit, but yeah, it's just, this is kind of like the main layer. It's just a sine wave, a triangle wave, and a bit of noise, some reverb, delay. It's in mono though, so it's not like, yeah, it's not super wide. Well, I guess it's still a bit wide, but yeah, this is like the main layer. So this comes in, well, actually comes in here. Sounds like really dirty and noisy, but in context of everything, it works really well. And so with that sound, I built the chords more and more throughout the bridge, then lead into that last drop. So there's like a real climax on this last drop because of this synth really. Just like you can feel the tension building because of the chords. Yes, really nice chord progression, and I think with all of it together they work really well. Very, very dirty. Like now listening to it, I don't know why I had that much noise on it, but hey ho, it worked. So let's move on to the next thing. And I had a fab filter here. I was probably filtering some of that noise out, but never mind, it's off. So then I did some stuff with the Korg. I actually do this quite a lot with my music, where I just play around with the Korg, with like the LFO filters, and come up with these kind of things. It sounds like I recorded this with a sidechain on, which was not a good idea. Yeah, so it's just these nice like things just to fill out the bridge quite nicely, and then there's another one here. Yeah, this again I have recorded with sidechain on. It's just stupid, but you can't tell. Yeah, so all together it creates this really nice like soundscape just for the bridge, and then I take it away. Do you prefer to record the audio and sidechain after? Yeah. Now I do. Now I do. I'll record the audio and then sidechain after, just so I've got the free audio, because like, for times like this where there's no kick, well there is there, but for here there's no kick, so I don't need to have sidechain on, and it will just let the sound breathe without it ducking all the time. So yeah, in hindsight I wish I did that. So we've got some atmosphere stuff here. Seems like all of this is sidechaining. Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, maybe I didn't sidechain it actually. I just had it on here. This sounds like it's from the labs. It's got that really nice texture to it, and I'm probably just playing these chords and just found a really nice pad. It just fills out the space quite nicely. And we've got this high pad here. Oh. This sounds like a recording of... It sounds like a recording of one of the labs pads, but then going through a crystallizer with some reverb, which is something I'll do a lot just to like really make it sound sparkly and pretty and stuff. Yeah, sidechain is a good effect, but I think not when you don't have anything there. When you've just got something that's ducking for when there's no kick there, it sounds a bit weird. It sounds a bit unnatural. Like, as you can tell when I don't play the kick along, it sounds just like weird, like interrupting. Anyway, so let's go to the drums. Drums look like they're made up of a lot of loops, and then some additional drums here, like this live drum rack that I use all the time, and then a perk rack. So let's go to like the main bulk of the drums, which is here, and we'll play the kick as well. Let me just close that down. And we'll take the... Oh. Yeah, so they're really nice and vibrant. They've got like break beats kind of style. So I've used this. I use this snare all the time. This one here. I'm starting to lean away from using it now because I use it so much. But I think I would have started the drums off with just the kick and this. It's just got that like crack to it, which I really, really love. I'm really heavily addicted to that loop. So I use this loop, and then I would have just built like these drums around it, I believe, like the live drum. So I've got like this perk running all the way through, this hat that's kind of playing the same layer just to really like build the energy, and then like 4 layers of hats. And they're all playing like exactly on each other, which is not what I would normally do. But yeah, it's just giving this nice, big, vibrant drum section. So there's a bit of swing here, this MPC 16 swing, and then we've got this perk group as well. This is, I think, in Battery. Yeah, so I spent some time going through all of the perks in Battery, which was like several hours, and then just found ones that I like. Wow, that's so cool. Oh, yeah, there's some really cool sounds in there. So then I just built like a little groove around it, so they all kind of complement each other. It's all in that same groove. And they're all just like, complementing around it. All these other loops here are probably just like hat loops and shaker loops, because I really like using shaker loops because they've got this kind of like human feel to them. And this is a recording of these drums, but going through a really heavy saturator. So this is the Devil Lock through Sound Toys, and I'm just crushing the shit out of the drums, and I've turned them right down. It's just adding this like layer of drums. It's kind of like doing parallel compression on your drums, but then I've recorded it and kept it here so I can like see where it's at. Or I don't know why I've recorded it, to be honest. But yeah, it's just adding this nice layer. If I take it away, yeah, it's just like adding this like crunchiness. So yeah, that's what I've done there. And then what's this? This is just probably like a little drum fill or swoosh. Yeah, just a reverse tail of some kind. Shaker loop. And then a hat loop. And then this other shaker down here. So there's a lot of high-end energy in the drums, which is something I do a lot. So it's like really vibrant in the top end. It really does help with the mix. Just makes it feel really nice and bright. And like when I do the drum processing, then I'll push the highs even more here, and then push the clap and stuff like that. The drum processing, I have a EQ where I'm boosting a little bit in the highs and taking some harshness out. And then I've got the Puke Chow, which I use all the time in the drums. It just sounds really nice. Just compresses quite lightly, and it actually adds like a little bit of air to the sound. and makes things sound expensive. And then I've got a really strong compressor. I think I'm just trying to control the volume. And then I'm going through this limiter, which I've stopped using now for some reason. But I really love doing this. Like, I just put a limiter on. I don't push it too much, but it really just like controls the volume a lot and then really brings things out. It's not like doing loads. There's not like a huge amount of gain reduction. Or you can see here, there's not a huge amount of gain reduction. But it's just bringing things together a bit more and making them a bit tighter. So that's it, I think. Oh yeah, the vocal. The vocal is just taken from Arcade. And oh yeah, and there's these effects here, which is just like rain and stuff. Got a little bit of a white noise sweep. No, this is actually a recording of, I don't know. I think it sounds like, I have no idea what that's from it, but it's recorded from something within the track, and then I've just used it as a white noise sweep. I think nowadays I just drag a white noise sweep from somewhere because I'm lazy, but this definitely sounds a lot nicer and organic. And it's the same here, like I've recorded like the ride or something here and then just reversed it and turned it up with automation and then recorded it again. And then we've got Vox. So the vocal is going through a compressor, 2 EQs. I think I'm just like getting rid of any harshness. Yeah, stuff like that. And then we got this CLA 76, which is just a compressor, like a nice compressor. I've got something funny to tell about this vocal actually, which was like really weird. Oh, what's happening, Amish? Good to see you. So, yeah, so I got the vocal from Arcade, and the vocal was like this really long bit of vocal. I think if I reverse this, you'll hear it. It's like quite cheesy. I still miss you. I miss you. I still miss you. Okay, so that's like the full sample from Arcade, which is like, yeah, it's a bit cheesy. I think I use a little bit of that towards the end or something like that. But what was really weird is that I reversed the sample just to see what I could get out of it, and it turned into something else. So it was weird. Like, it was like, I don't know if it's actually saying any words, but to me it sounds like it's saying let's have a listen. Sounds like it's saying, we said we would talk, weeks went by, but it's actually just a reverse of I miss you, I still miss you. It's really weird how it kind of like still made sense. I just really preferred the way that the oohs sounded rather than before. It just sounded a little less cheesy. So yeah, this bit of the vocal just comes in on the bridge, and I needed that to happen so the vocal didn't feel so repetitive, because it's mostly just saying I miss you. And that's it. Like, it just says it on every what's it called? Like every end of a section or something like that. Let me just unmute these things again. And yeah, it just starts off filtered and then builds up. And I would have just recorded or dragged the audio down and then transposed this down by 12 semitones, which you can't see now because I've frozen it. But yeah, I would have just tried to get as much out of that vocal as I could, because you know how hard it is to find vocals. So I just found that one thing, I miss you. I was like, all right, I can make a track out of that. It's a nice hook. And then just tried to manipulate the vocal as much as I could. Got a bunch of delay and stuff like that going on just to keep it going throughout the track. And then there's just like some nice reverse bits that I use, like here. So that's layering with this one. So you know, you got the two layers, the bottom layer and the top layer, so you get this really nice rich I miss you, and then it goes into the drop. And then there's these little things here. just good for transitions. But that's it. That's the track. Looking forward to into released projects. Thanks for doing this. Yeah, sweet. No worries. Somebody asked me to do this a while ago, and then I kind of forgot. So yeah, and I thought I would do it live. So if you guys want to ask anything, then you can. You can ask anything about music business as well, like signings and stuff like that. Feel free. So that is the track. If anybody has any questions before I move on to used, then let me know, and I will try and go over it. The mastering I did myself for this track. They didn't Colorize don't master the tracks. I think sometimes they do, but they didn't in this case. And the mastering that I've done is just a compressor, 2 compressors. This one's a bit light with the attack. It's not doing like too much. I'm just trying to really like kind of squash the track a little bit. And then another compressor here. I think I just bought these, so yeah, I was just using them a lot. I probably didn't need to have these 2 compressors. The oxygen inflator is great. It just gives your track just this little bit more energy. It's like a little secret weapon. And then a bit of Gulfos to control things. Usually I wouldn't use this much. This is like way too much. But yeah, it's just basically controlling anything that's harsh for me. It's just like a lazy EQ. The kick process. The kick is just a kick. It's like there really isn't anything. I think it's going through a parallel compressor as well. So it's going through this Vari compressor. It's like squashing really. So it's not going to make a huge difference, but it just adds like a little layer. And it's just the same kick that I use all the time. This kick D. I stole this from a track a while ago, and then I processed it and saved it, and now I use it all the time because it's just got a really nice tone to it. Yeah, it's just punchy and got a nice bit of a top end. But that's it. Off topic, not really though. Have you signed that together? Yeah, so together with, I've got the track with Bound to Divide called Together, and it's coming out on Monstercat Silk with another track that I did on the collaboration competition in the Discord with Mixglim. Can you put insight how you use? Yeah, I'll show you how to use that. Yeah, so we have I have like a collaborating EP coming out with Monstercat Silk. I think probably in September, and then I've got the other EP with you, Karam, when we've got another house track to go along with it. But we have time to do that. Kick MIDI after a pattern or just by feeling? I think like a breakbeats pattern, like. It's kind of like similar, just like this broken. Yeah, it's always like that. I always kind of beatbox when if I'm doing my kick a bit different, like if I'm doing like a broken beat, I'll always just beatbox it, and so then I'll start drawing the things in. So, and it's kind of like from doing hip hop a long time ago. That's what the pattern used to be like. It was. It was that broken style. So I really love it. It's like I prefer it to Fall to the Floor, if I'm being honest. So yeah, it kind of comes naturally, I guess. So yeah. Let's move on. We're going to go to Used now. For her. This track, Used, is an interesting one. It's like the first track I ever did with a vocalist. And the vocalist turned out to be really good. And the track was so different when it first started. It was like really bare. It was just piano and these really shitty drums. Not really much of an arrangement. And then I sent it off to loads of vocalists after featuring on like this BBC thing. So they were like, we were all kind of like talking through Instagram. And then I just reached out to Emma and was like, oh, yeah, I've got this idea. Do you want to do something with it? And she's like, yeah, well, I don't normally do house or anything, but I like this. So let's see what we can do. And she sent me like all the vocals, like this really long. She sent me a lot of vocals, and some of it, like the chorus I actually took out, I think, and I changed the chorus. So it was different. You can see this is actually a verse. The chorus she did was like really long. It was like na na na, and it was like it just felt a bit cheesy and didn't really work. So I kind of let the piano do the chorus in this track, and then made a bit of a chorus out of her verse. But yeah, and then the track went through these stages where it first was like the bass was really different. It was like this wom 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 wom, like this big, like huge sound, and then I just was like, oh, I kind of want it to go with the piano, so I stripped it back a bit and calmed it down essentially. But yeah, let's have a look at the track. So we'll play through to the last drop. This is like my favorite part of the track. I'm hoping my CPU will go right. Yeah, really nice vocal performance, man. She's really, really good. I'm working with her for quite a few different tracks now. Which she's got a lot. She's working on 2 albums, and she's doing a master's degree and a bunch of other stuff. So yeah, it's quite hard actually now getting her to do some music. But yeah, it's good when we do. And this track's done really, really well. It's done way better than I thought it would. Well, on Apple Music at least. On Spotify, it's sitting at around 40,000 streams, and it's going up quite quickly. It's hitting like 7,000 streams a week, which is good. But then on Apple Music, it's hit 500,000 streams, which is great. And I'm actually getting paid quite a bit from it. And within a month, well, for January, I got nearly €400 just for that song, which is crazy, because I definitely didn't think you get anything from streams. I thought it was just dog shit, but I think Apple Music actually pay pretty well. So it's great. It's actually like giving me a bit of a wage. So yeah, let's go through this track. It's actually a very simple track. It all just started from this chord progression, which listening now, I actually don't really love the chord progression. It's all right, but I think I definitely now would do a bit of a better one. It's just like, I don't know. Yeah, so it all started with that, and it was actually a bit bigger, the progression. Unfortunately, I don't still have the MIDI. I wonder if I drag that. No. But it will be like this. It's just like the but with some fifths added and maybe an octave or something like that. Yeah, so just to answer, sorry, I should probably tell people what I'm answering. And also, sorry, the person who asked about Gulfos, I'm going to just show you that now. I'll do that first, and then... so Gulfos is an intelligent EQ. Did that just respond to my... I don't know what it's responding to there. But it basically will... As you tame things, it will automatically tame wherever there's harsh frequencies. So you don't even have to tell it where to do it. It will just say where there's like too many resonant frequencies, it will tame it for you. And then recovery will just recover those frequencies where there is not enough. So it's just like basically making up for space. But you can go a bit far with it, and it tends to just add brightness to the mix, and that just tells you like, oh yeah, you need to add a bit more high end to the mix. You can do more, like you can add more brightness and boost, which is like low end. It's really, really good. I highly recommend it. Uses a lot of CPU though, so I only use it on the master. But I mean, it would be smart to use it on like the group processing. And then to answer, somebody said, when you say you don't get much for streams, is that just opposed to downloads on Beatport, etc.? Yeah, I mean, like on Spotify streams, you don't get much. You get, like 0.003 or whatever per stream. So even if you do like 50,000 streams, it doesn't really account to much. It's just like a very small amount, not really worth shouting about. And then on Beatport's better, but I mean, this kind of music, well, at least this song, I imagine it probably didn't do well on Beatport. It's not like a club filling track. It's just like a chilled, I don't know, like playlist track. So yeah, it's like for this type of music, you rely on streams from Apple Music and all the other like streaming sites. But I didn't think they paid well, but yeah, I mean, Apple Music actually paid pretty well, which is good. Okay, so let's go through some of the channels. I did have this fab filter which is not working. And let's go through. So I've done the same thing on this where I want the vocal. So I want the vocal to come through more on the bridge, on the drop. So I'm separately processing with like the data life. If I'm using like this data life here, it's to take away the low end and put reverb and things, but I don't want it to be strongly affecting the vocal sometimes because I want the vocal to come through more. So if I have vocal, I usually separate it, and any kind of like drop processing, then I'll do like this. So data is essentially everything apart from the vocal. And then, so let's go from the kick, which is probably the same kick. Oh, it's a different one. It's Deep Premium Volume 5, which is just for some reason I felt like that was stronger. Maybe I didn't have my kick at this point. Because I made this track last February, like probably a year ago. Nice kick. Not done any processing on it. I just leave it as it is usually. If I don't like a kick, or if I feel like I have to process a kick, then I'll just find a better sample. That's usually the way I think. Let's move on. So the bass is with Diva. Wonder what preset I used, or maybe I didn't. Bass fifth. This is just some. It's not even tuned to the fifth. I think I took off the fifth tuning because it was probably a bit annoying. This sounds like a very simple patch. It just sounds like a sine wave, really. It's not doing much because I've got the piano there and quite a lot of this low information. I don't want the bass to be too interfering or too big. So yeah, you can see it's mostly sitting around here. Side chains on there, but it's not too strong, which is important to note. So it's not like really, really pumping. And then there's a limiter on here, which it's not really doing too much limiting. Like we're not getting too much gain reduction. I think I just use this limiter to really like control the overall volume when I'm doing like the mix down process. And that's it. Yeah, the oxyl inflator's on here. The oxyl inflator is just a saturator, but it's like really subtle. It doesn't like, even if you really push it, you're not going to hear any distortion. It just kind of colorizes things really nicely. Cool. Let's move on to the drums. The drums, I think there's like a bunch of loops. I don't even think I've done much. Oh yeah, I've got like one drum rack myself. Or I think like these I actually did and then recorded them. But then here, look, this is the same snare. It's just so good. It's just like the perfect snare. And yeah, I think I've tried to recreate this kind of that exact tone, and it's just, yeah, I can't get it. So I use that. And then yeah, this is just like some kind of like background perks. I think I can't remember how I recorded it, but it's adding like width to the kick. 'Cause it's landing on the kick. It's got this kind of like a soft click to the kick. It's just layering nicely with all the other things in there. Essentially, it's not like too intrusive. And then we've got this little hat rack, which looks like the only thing that I programmed in this. Is very lazy. I think I was mostly just focusing on the melodies and stuff. Yeah, it's a quite strong hats. Like it's just like really like groove defining with especially with the, which you can hear is panning left and right. Yeah, it might be. I have no idea, to be honest. I've just called it Ghost Perks, but probably is. You've got that pack. Yeah, I think it is. It probably just chopped up, or I don't know. But yeah, so we got these hats here, and then there's a shaker. Sounds like it's going through like a vocoder, maybe not. No, just like a standard shaker loop. So yeah, the drums aren't very spectacular. I've just been very lazy there, but it got me the result. So fuck it. But I think like important thing is if I'm using these loops and things like that, I would try and fine tune them so they're not overly busy. They're just kind of like layering around this nice solid groove essentially. So it's not like lots of different things going on, or if there is something going on, it's like really like a strong element in the track. It's like a lead element rather than like just loads of different grooves going on. And then I think, yeah, they're all being assigned to this MPC swing, so they've all got a little bit of a swing to them. The drum processing is the same that I do most of the time. Got Gulfos on there for a change. I got this transient shaper. Yeah, maybe I'll go through flawed. I can't actually remember where that is, but I'll have a look. So then, yeah, this transient shaper is just to bring out the transients more. So it's bringing out a little bit of attack and a little bit of sustain in the sound. And yeah, we've got some compression, got an EQ, taking away only the low end and just boosting in that snare area. Yeah, just not by much at all. And then a limiter. So it seems like I'm doing a lot of limiting, and I think, yeah, I still do that now. When I'm doing my final processing, I'll do like really light limiting on the groups, and it really does help to just like control where the volume's going. As long as I'm not really pushing it where I'm getting digital distortion, it can really like just condense things and bring them out a bit without flattening them too much. So let's move on to the instruments. So we've got this thing, which is just made from labs. Oh, no, it's not. This is some lead I made called Messiah Lead. That was a track that I did a long time ago. So it's just an ARP with a sine wave, and I'm basically getting rid of a lot of the low end. It's just like concentrating on those top notes essentially. And it's just like complementing the bass. You can see it's playing the same progression. Just gives it a little bit of a different texture. Yeah, a bit of EQ there. Nothing crazy. I called that wailing. Yeah, not sure what that means, but hey ho. Okay, so then this is the ARP, which I really love. Like I don't know how I came up with this progression, but it sounds really nice. So let's have a play. Yes, it's real nice. It just really drives the track, especially when I bring that in really late. So the original piano, or the piano at the start of the track, is a lot more chilled. It's just like a repeating pluck. Every now and again there'll be like a top note, and then same here. Sounds like I'm running it. Yeah, I got like a delay here, crystallizer, just like really spreading it essentially and just making it sound a bit bigger than it is. Bunch of sidechain compression here, one to the vocal, one to the kick. Really high ratio here, so it's like really ducking for the kick, which I don't think I would do now, but anyway. So yeah, it comes in nicely here, and it just kind of like sets the mood for a new part of the track, or it makes the track feels like it's evolved, which is something that I do in every track that I do. I'll try and have the second drop or the last drop to be like this new thing and new evolution. So yeah, there's not much more to show on that piano. We've got, yeah, that's just the chord progression, and then we've got what's this? Oh well, here's the chords. Yeah, real simple chords. just playing the fifths and then the octaves above. That's like, yeah, as far as my music theory knowledge goes. But it works really well. Sounds nice. It's just very safe and, yeah, pretty sounding. And yeah, so this is just some stuff going through labs. I think all of these are through labs. The Spitfire Orchestra. And you just got like a really nice tone to them. Some choir, some violin, which is not working. So yeah, all together on the bridge, it creates this really nice atmosphere. Yeah, just nice and pretty and kind of dark as well. And that with the piano, it works really well. So the piano runs through the whole track, the chord progression, apart from this last drop here where this takes over. So I probably tried it with both of them playing there, but it just didn't. I probably wanted to give more attention to this ARP, and especially when they're sitting in the same frequency. So it's important to note that. Okay, so effects, probably just some white noise and shit. Some, field recordings, probably the same one I used on I Miss You. Just some rain, everyone loves a bit of rain. Vinyl, which you can't even really hear. Yeah, that's like barely doing anything at all. And then just some noise and stuff. What's this? Yeah, some vocal thing. Just works really well when I'm like introducing the vocal again. Okay, so let's move to the vocal processing. I can show you the whole vocal. It's quite extensive. So yeah, let's go from, what have I got on here? I had a little bit of auto-tune, but it actually didn't really help. I think this auto-tune, this is free by the way, but it just kind of made it sound a little bit shit in areas. So I think I turned it off mostly and just turned it on for a very small section. Let's see. Yeah, so just on this bridge, and it was on this bridge it came off. I actually used it for the main verse, but on the bridge it kind of made her vocal go really horrible, just like this little bit here. So I don't want to show you just because it's not nice on Emma. But let's. I can just show you this processing. So I've got a little bit of saturation with warm tape, just like nicely brings out the vocals a little bit more. Saturation on vocals helps quite a lot. A little bit of EQ, just where necessary, warming it up here, capping where like on de-essing and stuff like that. Goof off just for where I might have missed, and boosting where I need to boost. So yeah, the main verse is like this. Am I doing any processing on there? I probably did, and then I've frozen it. It's hard to get. Yeah, there's a bunch of reverb. It's hard to get used to. I can't do it like you do. Yeah, really, really pretty voice. And then she sent me some harmonies. They're like, you can barely even hear them. They're just panned really far to the left. To be honest, I don't really like having like a lot of backing and things like that. I like to just have one solid vocal. It was the same from when I used to do like rapping and stuff like that. It just sounded so processed when you have all these like multiple layers. If you just did one really good take, you didn't really need all of these additional things. So whenever I do have like backing and stuff, I do tend to have it so it's like pretty low in the mix, and it's just layering a little bit to make sections feel a little bit bigger than they are. There's some ad-libs here. Brand new, hard to get used to. yeah, it's going through a Valhalla shimmer. So the purpose of this is just for it to fill out that space in the background and carry on through to fill the gaps essentially in between the verse. And then there's these little stabs, which I used through the whole thing. Sounds like it's going through a... No, it's not. Yeah, it's just probably just a small bit of the verse that I've chopped up and then put through an echo and probably detuned, I think. It doesn't look like I have, but I think I did. Yeah, just this little bit, this one. And yeah, it just helps to kind of keep the vocal rolling when it's not there. So like... It's really subtle, but yeah, it's just there. It just lets you know that like there is vocal still in the track. And then this is just probably some recordings of Herb going through a big reverb. This one sounds super metallic. Yeah, it's being stretched. So I probably stretched this with when you hold shift and you can stretch it. And I mean, I guess in context you can't hear all that metallicness. But yeah, that is it. That is used. The mastering I didn't do. Monstercat Silk always do the mastering, so I would have sent them the stems like this in the different groups, and then they would have just mastered them. No worries. Thanks, David. So yeah, if there's anything that people want to see or any questions, then ask away. If not, how long have I been going for? About an hour. Okay, maybe I can try and find Flawed, but I'm not sure if I can. Or does anybody want to see something I'm working on now? So a release that I've got coming up, which might be a bit more educational because this stuff's quite old. Or is everybody bored and maybe just want to go? Do you do Roots? Oh, I didn't actually. Yeah, I'll do Roots because I fucking love that track. And I did it in Ableton 11. That's good. I'm glad you guys are enjoying it. And you can see, yeah, my inner workings. Yeah, I would like to show Flawed, but I really can't remember where it is. And because this is like my old projects from Ableton 10. Let me see if there's a thing that says Flawed somewhere. No. It will be like in something that's named something else, so it's just a bit long to find. Signed. Flawed. It's here. Okay. I could show Flawed. This was my first ever track. Well, no. I started off as music signed, but it was my first track signed under the name La to Monstercat Silk. So they gave me like my first break. It's not really a big break, but you know, my first signing, which was like my foot in the door. And then it made things a lot easier. Okay, I think maybe more people want to see something I've done. I can quickly go through Flawed, but I'll just like briefly go over it. If there's anything in particular that you want to see, Karam, then let me know. And I feel like the project's probably going to have like missing files because this is definitely an old song. Yeah, there's some VSTs that aren't working. What the fuck? Okay. Yeah, this is very old, so you're going to see some stuff that is probably not healthy. But it got the track signed, so never mind. Okay, let's see if this will play. Oh yeah, we're all good. Okay, so this has got loads of stuff from the Marabou State Pack. I know that because this is the first track I got with the Marabou State Pack. Or when I first got the Marabou State Pack, this is the first track that I made. So there's like this. And that's like the main drums. I didn't do anything on it. I think I just added these rides here and some claps. It's not even a clap. It's just like a little dung. And but the cool stuff is like the chops and stuff like that, and like this atmosphere stuff. Where is it? Yeah, so the actual melody from this came from the Marabou State, this guitar sample, and then I just made it in, like converted it into a bass and played that melody and kind of built the track around this essentially. Yeah, it's just this really, really nice sample. I think now I definitely would avoid doing that because it's like anybody can just get this sample pack and then just copy that same thing. But I think at the time I was like, oh yeah, it's just so good, I just want to use it. And then yeah, just put the bass over the top. So it's kind of like the mid layer and then the sub layer. And then yeah, there's like these things down here. So we've got these piano layers, but there was something else, I think, like a vocal or... Oh no, I'm thinking of a different track. Yeah, so then this is the piano following from that same melody, so I'm just really layering around that same melody, essentially. You know what, I should probably just play a bit of the track in case people haven't heard this. Yeah, and the vocals are taken just from Splice, and I just like chopped them up. But yeah, so lazy with my drums back in the day. I think just like using so many loops. Oh, there's this ride here, which is not. Oh, I remember this was actually working before. Yeah, the production of Roots is on a live stream. But I'll have it here somewhere. Yeah, there's something going on with the drums. I think there's missing some files. Yeah, it's definitely not the same drums and stuff. Oh yeah, there's a few things missing now. It's telling me. Yeah, so some of the drums are not there. But anyway, that's the track. There's not. I don't really want to show too much on it because it's quite old and the processing's not anything worth looking at. I think the Monstercat did a really good job with the mixing, with the mastering. So they kind of saved me there. Because for me it sounds just really hollow, like listening to it now. But I guess there's some stuff missing and some VSTs missing as well. But yeah, the vocal is just like, it all started from this. So it was that, and I just, chopped it into... And then like I did these little stabs just where there's like the... to complement the, the groove that's going on there. So I was really getting everything to, jam along with it. So I think I just adjusted the kick with whenever there was these stabs, which is something I'll do if I get like a really nice stab, then I will, try and let the drums kind of work around it. And I sent this through Label Radar, through just straight to Silk, and they liked it. This was after sending quite a few things to them, and then they liked this one out of them. It's probably the Marabou State drums. But cool. Let's move to Roots and to answer your question. How did I build my production skills? It's kind of a long story, but I started when I was young doing hip hop for like 5 or 6 years. I used to make grime beats and rap, grime and like hip hop for 6 years or so. And I did quite well. I got pretty good at it. I was on like radio and stuff like that, but then it just kind of like ran its course, and I kind of grew up and grew out of it, and then just went traveling and partying for all of my 20s. And then so my production that I was learning was from a guy called Kirk Spencer, who is a like electronic producer, and he's been dating my sister, and he's still with her now, like 15 years later. They just had a kid together, and he's a really good producer. So he showed me a little bit back then on Logic, and I think I was using like Fruity Loops on Logic. And then I went to college while I was doing rap, and I did like a 1-year course at college, and I was learning about Logic. But all the stuff that I did back then, I don't really remember it that well. Like I didn't really learn how to use a compressor, or I knew how to use like automation and just little like kind of the basics of like how to program things and arrange them into a bit of a song. But the way that I learned about like electronic music, like dance music, house music, I just started like a long time ago, or not a long time ago. I started like 3-4 years ago, and I started on my phone on a Fruity Loops app. I highly recommend it, by the way, if you don't have a computer, which obviously most of you do, or all of you do. But I started on that, and I was just making beats while I was in Australia. I was traveling in Australia. I didn't have much money. I just had like my phone. I was like, I really want to get back into production. So I started making drum and bass, like liquid drum and bass. I have a song here. Don't know if anyone wants to hear this shit. And this was, so I was making quite a few beats. This was all on my phone, just making all these things on my phone on this Fruity Loops app. And this was over the course of like 6 months or something like that. And then I was like, you know what? This one's like, I made one, and it was like, this is really good. I'm enjoying this. So then I self-released it under the name Matter. So this was my first like self-release that I did. Got 5,000 streams, not bad. And it's this drum and bass track. Then this is made on my phone, bear in mind. But I can tell you now, the piano is a sample. It's not me. And it's got a really long intro, but yeah, I'm gonna skip through a little bit. Let's go along a little bit here. That white noise suite. So yeah, you can see that's where like I got this melodic breaks love from. I really do love that. It's just like really, it's what I grew up on. So yeah, there's a bit of vocal in this actually that I got off a website called Noise, and it's like really nice. You can hear in a minute. Yeah, so that was my first release. It was a self-release. I promoted it a little bit, and then from there I was like, okay, well I just like I didn't want to keep the name Matter because for whatever reason I can't remember. Then I started making melodic techno, which is under a different name called Matt Black. I'm not going to go through all of my releases ever, but yeah, there's this other alias I had called Matt Black. And that was where the way that I found labels through this alias was through Submit Hub. I only gave this alias up last year. I had one good song that I really liked on here. I like this one as well. Well, I liked a few of the songs on here. My production was not a bad point by this time. It wasn't in the direction that I wanted to go. I wanted to go into melodic house. And a lot of the music that I'd made under this alias was like really deep, like melodic techno, and the production was just really not good. Like mixing and mastering wise, it just wasn't good quality. Yeah, it does sound a bit like Emma, I guess. It was just some girl called Natalie something. It's on a website called Noise. I might actually get those vocals again if I can get away with using them, because they're fucking so nice. But I had this alias for a bit, and then so what happened is I got these signings to like 03, which is where I reached out to them on an email just to answer somebody's question of how I reached out. So I reached out to 03, which is a sub-label of Tool Rooms. I reached out to them, and I sent them some demos, and they liked one of them, which they signed, called KWA, which has still not been released, even though I made it like 2 years ago or a year ago. And then I got a track signed. That track, Flawed, was signed by Monstercat. And so I was like, okay, I've got all these songs which are in a bit of a different direction. They're in a bit of a melodic house direction. Oh, fuck, I just closed down the wrong project. Sorry, one sec. So I was like, all right, I'm going to start a new name, start fresh because I was more confident in my production by that point. So I was like, yeah, you know what, I can mix, I can master well. So I wouldn't be ashamed to show this to people in 10 years time or whatever. And looking back now, I wouldn't have been ashamed at the old music, because it's good to show the growth. But yeah, I'm glad that I changed, like went to La, and now I'm going down this new path. It gave me a bit of direction, I think. So welcome to Ableton. I have been here before. All right, so let's try to open this up again. So this is Roots. So we'll just show Roots, and then I'm going to call it a day and go make some music. So yeah, just to continue my story, if anybody wants to hear that. Oh wait. Yeah, that's a good question, right? So Anthony said you had a video a while back called Road to Deep, where you outlined your goals, etc. How have these goals changed, and what are your goals now, given all of your progression? Yeah, so they still stand. Like, I still want to be signed to Deep, but it's becoming a little bit less of a priority, because it's like I'm finding success through signing with like Monstercat Silk and Colorize and like these other labels which will take my music, and like the tracks aren't like absolutely blowing up, but they're doing pretty well, and I'm getting enough income from production music live where now it's like because I think my in my head I was like, yeah, I want to get signed to Deep because that will mean that like I've made it or whatever, but it's like my sense of what made it has changed. Like now it's like, okay, I'm making money from music, like just from music. I can quit my full-time job as being a chef. I'm happier. I mean, it's been quite stressful getting to this point, but you know, I feel like a lot more contempt in music. And now that, like, you know, I've got Monstercat, which are really, really good. Like, they're a great label. They work with me really well. They're really nice people, and they want my music. Like, they really like my style. So it's like, right, I kind of get a bit put off by in Deep in a way where I'm like, oh, like, what is it? I feel like I'm molding my sound to them, like to try and sound like their artist, which is something I was doing for a while. Like, oh yeah, I'm going to make a song a bit like Lane 8 or like Ben Boma, and then they'll like that. But it's not the case. Like they obviously want something that's unique, but it's hard to not like kind of tailor what you're doing for that label. So, but what I do now with the music that I make now is I will just make whatever I want. I'll just sit in front of whatever, play around with some plugins for a bit, play around with the synths that I've got, make a chord progression, and then just make a track by it, not thinking, oh, I wonder who's going to like this. I just make something, and then if somebody likes it, then it gets signed. And luckily enough, Monstercat Silk really like a lot of my stuff, so I've got quite a lot signed to them, and Colorize and 03 now as well. So it's like there's places for my music, and this was the biggest issue I think I had with like this Matte Black alias. It was I just couldn't find a place for it. Like it was making melodic techno, but I only really knew Afterlife. I didn't know any of the smaller labels, and I was like, well, I'm not going to get onto Afterlife now. Like it's like, you know, that's going to be something a long way away, and it's like, what's the journey that I'm going to have to go down to get to that point? and I just preferred like this journey now, where like I love the community that's in like the melodic house. The melodic house community and the progressive house community. It's just like really nice people. They're all trying to help each other. And it's been really good. Like the YouTube channel has really, really helped. If I didn't start YouTube, I don't think I would be where I am now. Even though my YouTube channel is not like anything substantial at all, it's like very low in the grand scheme of things. It gave me a bit of a platform, and it's given me this. Like now, there's people that I can talk to, and we've got a community where people share their music with each other. There's somewhere where I can show people my sample packs if they want to get them. I've got students that I teach now, like 4 or 5 students every week that I teach, and that's all because of YouTube, because I created a platform for me to be able to advertise myself and advertise my skills. And then that's how I got in contact with Production Music Live. They saw one of my videos and was like, yeah, we want you to do some stuff for us, and built up like a relationship with them, did a few jobs with them here and there. And now I've got a regular contract with them where I get like a good amount of money every month, and I do a set amount of things. And now it's like I'm comfy with that. And that's because of YouTube, essentially. Even though through YouTube I make probably about £12 a month or something like that. It's like really, really bad. But anyway, that's kind of my story so far as of yet. So yeah, my goals are still to get signed to Injunity. I do still send music to them. But I think I prioritize Silk first, and then like I'll send it to, or I don't know what I prioritize, but yeah. So let's have a listen to this. Oh, there's some samples missing. Some crystal thing. I don't know what this is. Black hole crystal. I guess it won't matter too much. It's probably just some. Yeah, we can just pretend it's there. Cool. Yeah. So shall I show you this track? This is Root. So this is like probably one of my favorite productions. I just really love. I listen to it like more regularly than the others, and I signed it to a new label, which I actually really. I mean, I shouldn't say this now, but I kind of regret, because I think I was a bit impatient with it, because I knew it wasn't really the right song for like Monstercat Silk or these other progressive labels, because it's quite dark. It's a bit like Afro-y. So I sent it to the like bigger Afro labels, and they didn't want it. So then this guy reached out to me, Raina, who used to work at Songspire, and he said, we're a new label, but we've got some really good releases, and we've got contacts with editorial playlists, and he really sold me essentially. And so I was like, all right, you know what, I'm going to give it to you. And he signed it, and it's doing all right, but I just feel like I could have gone further with it. I feel like it's like one of my best productions, and if I put it in the right hands, I think it would be doing really, really well right now. I think I should have held on a little bit longer, not to take anything away from Raina, but it's a brand new label, and I should have like had a bit more faith in the song. Yeah, thanks, man. Appreciate it. All right, so let's listen to this song. I don't know how my CPU is going to handle this. This space would usually be filled with a big crystallizer pad. You love this one. Yeah, cool. So that is Roots, or the bulk of Roots. Yeah, I really love this one. The vocal is from Loop Master, if anyone's wondering. Yeah, I found the vocal first. It was the first thing I did for this track, and then I built everything around it. So it gave me like the feeling to do everything. And I think, yeah, I mean, there is a live stream of me actually making this whole track from the start. I think it all started like probably with a kick, obviously. Maybe with a bass as well. But then there was these war drums, which I've unfortunately frozen. But I think I remember I made them with battery, and they are like a real big bulk of the track. So we have a little listen to these war drums. They're not really war drums. Yeah, just this like really like strong groove, and I think it just needed that like in the track, and it drives the whole track. So you'll hear as it comes in, it's like a really big part of the track, or at least like starts the track, I should say. It's a bit quiet, isn't it? Let's make it. Yeah, so it's like, yeah, I just really love I love this because it's very different from what I'm normally doing. Like it's just that kind of like deep darkness to it. So let's go through some of the stuff. So we've got this kick group, and this is very recent, this project. I think I last touched it like just like December or January, just before it got sent off to be finalized and mastered. So I've got this kick rack here, and this is I don't know why I've frozen it, but it's just two kicks. There's a kick that Bound to Divide sent me when we was working on another track. He was like, oh yeah, we use this 'cause it's got like nice and deep, and that's basically it's made up of like a really deep subby layer and then a more top heavy layer, which is made up of the kick that I usually use. So let's actually unfreeze this. I don't know why I've frozen my kick. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing to... I guess there's Pro MB on here. So, yeah, let's have a look at the kick. Yeah, it's very heavy. Like, there's this really nice low end to it, which is from this. And then it's got this click layer. And that's it. That's the two layers you can see here. And then I've put it through Pro MB for whatever reason. I'm just boosting in the punchy part of the kick. And then let's go to, yo, what up, into the ether? What's happening? So then let's look at link to the live stream. Have a look. It's in my live stream list, and it will say how to Afro House or something like that, I think. Even though it's not really a how to. Well, I guess it is because I'm showing you. Anyway, so we've got this sub layer, which is yeah, this is what I really love about this track, or love that what I did in this track is in the big main drop, I changed the bass so it's like really stable and just like this kind of. So it's really pushing that dum 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 dum, and then I've got this upper bass. Not really a bass, it's more of a lead. So it's like really bringing home that pattern, and then just here it switches back to the dum 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 dum. So let's have a little listen here to the bass. Yeah, so it goes back into that the groove, and you really like appreciate it when it's here, because everything starts getting a bit crazy and building up with all like automation and stuff like that. The vocal gets really intense and the drums, and then I take out the kicks. back into the groove. Cool. So the sub, yeah, I mean, let me unfreeze it. Maybe I'll freeze this again. Oh, go back. Yeah, and then we'll unfreeze this. See what it's made with. Obviously, it's with Diva. Is it anything from my pack? Maybe. I don't know. Just some nice. It's basically a sine wave mixed with a sawtooth. There's a little bit of this LFO1, which is just creating a little bit of not FM but pulse width to the waveforms. A little bit of feedback, and then there's this LFO2, which is giving it the dum 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 dum. If I'm ever like sustaining the note, so like here, dum 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 dum, like a classic like house groove, just this like saw down thing. And that's it. It's in mono, just like a nice deep sub going through a Oxford inflator, some EQ, doing some mid-side EQ for some reason, even though I don't have any side information, is what it is. Oxford inflator, yeah, I've already showed you that. And then 2 kinds of mid-side EQ. I think I was just being lazy and copying over the EQ. Track spacer, which I'm just using for sidechain. Rather than I'm using 2 cases of sidechain for some reason. Yeah, don't know what I was thinking with the mixing here, but it works. And then, oh yeah, sorry. And so then the upper bass is, I have no idea what I did this with. Yeah, I can't remember. Maybe Diva, but I decided to freeze and flatten it for whatever reason. Cool. The drums are pretty extensive in this. So we got this. Got this same loop that I've used in every track, because I mean it's a winning formula, so why not? Yeah, like I really do start off my track with that, because it just gives me like, okay, instantly I'm making like got a nice groove to work with. So like I think usually what I'll do is I'll have like the kick, this, and then I'll start doing my other stuff in the track and then work the drums around that essentially. So then, yeah, we go to like these bongos. Yeah, it's just like a simple bongo groove. I think I added this in quite late into the production, like a few weeks or maybe a month after I'd produced it. And I just needed to add a little bit more of a perk layer here. And then this. Just another one. I think I'll probably chop this up a little bit. And we've got this soft white. So it's just like a white noise, like quite an open white noise thing done with operator. Yeah, nothing too crazy to show here. It's just like adds a nice bit of high energy. Got this little loop. Marabou State all day. And then we've got the war drums. And then the shakers, which I think Adami helped me with. I can't remember, but somebody said that. I think we were like going through them, and you're like, "Yeah, you should do this." I don't remember. Yeah, so we've got 1 pan to the left, 1 pan to the right, and this is done with the Drum Labs from Native Instruments. I really love this drum lab. It's really the drums just sound really nice. It's just a nice shaker here, a little bit of reverb, and yeah. So they're just pan left and right, and it just fills out this nice shaker. So we got this. Whoa. So everything in this track, like all the stuff is like really confident. It's really like strong and yeah, in your face, which is something like I definitely learnt from this. So like, okay, yeah, this is like what makes everything sound nice and big. So it's like everything is really full. We've got this shaker loop here as well. So yeah, it's just like with shakers, I feel like I can never get enough. Like you can really like layer them as long as you're getting all these different textures and you listen out for phasing. Like, so if I listen here, there shouldn't be any phasing. It's just like a really full sound. It sounds like, yeah, there's just a bunch of people with shakers. And then there's another one here. This is just another white noise going through a vocoder. And that is the shaker. Okay, so the synths, we will go, yeah, so this is all done with the Korg, I believe. Oh. Yeah, I remember making that. That might have been with Diva. I'm just pressing S to solo. Yeah, so we've got this nice foghorn. That might have been with Diva. Maybe you check the live stream and you'll see. So this whole section here is just like really full and rich and big, and then it all just cuts off kind of, and we go back into just like the nice groove here. So it's just like a good little, I really like that I did this in the drop rather than just dropping straight into like this groove here. It was just this really big, intense part of the track. And then we've got this thing. Yeah, I think that's done with one of the patches in my motion pack. So another thing to focus on, or like to learn from, I don't know, it sounds a bit egotistical, but is like that I'm really focusing around the same groove. So it's that dum 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 something like that. So everything has that kind of pattern, right? So it's all like complementing each other rather than having loads of different grooves, as what I said before. So you got the war drums, and then you got this thing. Yeah, I was almost going to say to you, like, well, yes, S for solo. But yeah, that's what it is. No worries. Yeah, so it's all like, you know, driving that same idea. All these other synths here are just like really nice like bridge filling synths and just really intense. I think this is... It's just... I think it's this sound. It's one of the recordings from one of the... I can't remember which one it is. Maybe it's just like this. Yeah, if I were to reverse it. Yeah, it was just something I did with the Korg, and then I reversed it here, and it gave this really sick effect. Oh, like the bit at the end. I think that's just where it's gliding, I don't know, up a note or something. It was definitely a happy accident, which I really loved. This is just like the cool thing with the Korg, which I've got here, is that it's not perfect. Like the LFO is not on time usually. It's like, you know, the syncing is not perfect, so it creates these kind of like weird, jaggedy, human sounding things, which is what's so great about analog stuff. So that's what this kind of synth, it just feels a bit more alive. Yeah, so it's just me playing with the LFO, and the LFO would have been on like a saw down pattern, so it's like very harsh, and yeah. And this is like a really big part of the bridge, especially with the vocal playing. It just turns into this huge thing. And then we've got this choir. What is this? Probably just something from Labs, and it's just me holding down 2 notes. What's happening, Adam? Yeah, I've done used. It was like the second track, so you can go back through the live stream and watch that one. Okay, so, and then the piano. So I think the piano was actually one of the first things I did. Super, super simple. It's literally just like, yeah, 2 notes. 1, 2, if I fold it. Yeah, G, D, D sharp, A sharp, and then just same again. So I'm playing like really stable. Listening now, I can actually hear distortion. I think I pushed it a little bit too far, but hey ho, can't notice in the mix. So yeah, that was it. So this was like I think how it all started. So it started with this vocal.
Courir, courir d'allons, loin, loin même d'allons.
Oh my god, that vocal is so nice. I'm going to make another track with the other samples in that pack. Hopefully no one finds them before I do.
Courir, courir d'allons, courir, courir d'allons, loin, loin même.
Yeah, so this was like, you know, the real start of the track. Nice kick, did the bass, did the piano, which is usually, the piano is like one of the first things I always do in a track. And yeah, so with the vocal, it was just a bunch of different samples that I messed around with, and then at some points I chopped it up so it had a bit of a stabby. And you can tell like the vocals, because the vocal's so good, I don't need to have loads of layers on it. It's literally just one strip of vocal. What processing am I doing? EQ and a bit of compression. And I think probably it looks like there's some reverb on there. Oh, it's going through a shimmer. But yeah, if you get a good vocal sample, you don't need to dress it up. Like, I always think of this, right? This is a story when I used to chef at Ibiza Rock. So in Ibiza, I did a few seasons in Ibiza, if you know where that is. Getting off my tits and having a good time. But I was a chef at a place called Ibiza Rocks where some of the artists would come and perform, and so we would cook for the artists, which was quite cool. Like I met like Ed Sheeran and all these other people, but one of the artists there was called Ben Howard, who's a like indie singer. His voice is absolutely incredible, and I'd never heard of him before. And I was finishing my shift, and he was rehearsing on his own. Like there was nobody in the hotel, but he was on the stage just singing, and there was nothing else there. It was just him singing. Obviously, there's acoustics in the place, like reverb in natural reverb, but it was just his voice. And it literally, like, I was walking and I stopped and was like, oh my god, like what is that? And it was giving me like goosebumps. It was so good, and I became like a really big fan after that. And it kind of taught me where I was like, oh, okay, like you don't need to have loads of stuff. If you've got a good vocal, just let that vocal do the work. Just let it be like, you know, let it be raw and powerful. If it's a good performance, anything else that you're adding to that, it just feels like too much and it feels unnatural. Apart from reverb, like reverb's something where it's like you're putting it in a certain space that maybe the other things in your the other things in your track are sitting in, so they all feel cohesive, rather than it being like really dry and raw and then the other things are spacey. Yeah, just thought I would have a little rant there and tell you. Ben Howard, yeah. Did I say someone else? Yeah, Ben Howard. Absolute G, this guy. I mean, I'm not a big fan of his latest stuff, but this was back when he did this album, 2011. Was when I was a chef in Ibiza Rocks, and he was touring with this album. Yeah, pretty popular guy. But yeah, if you watch any of him like just a cappella, you'll hear how good his voice is, and it's like you don't need to dress that shit up. And for me, this vocal performance by this woman, whoever you are, wherever you are, you beautiful woman, your voice is incredible.
Courir, courir d'allons, loin, loin même d'allons. Tan maloya.
So yeah, man, like how powerful is that? And I was hesitant a bit to use this because I don't know what she's saying, which is something I really like, does disagree with me a little bit. Like I don't like that I don't know what she's saying, because I mean I could have made these sentences into something that made absolutely no sense, but I just was like, all right, but I'm making something that sounds good. Like that's what's important. It's more important. I'm making something that for me sounds really great. I'm enjoying it. So I kind of had to look past that, like the fact. And I did try to find out what she was saying. I was asking. I thought it was French, but apparently it's from Sierra Leone, or it might not even be from Sierra Leone. It doesn't say where it's from. Yeah, I think I've actually done some little bits of delay and stuff here, so that's why it's all messed up. But yeah, that is the track. And there's just some standard effects like snare rolls and white noise. All of these like effects, if I ever have these things on, I always turn them down quite a lot because I don't want to actually hear them in the track. I just want to feel them, because whenever I hear someone using like a white noise effect, I always just think, oh, like it just feels really like cheesy. I mean, not every single time, but if it's not used well, it just feels cheesy. So whenever I have those things, I just try to have them quite far back in the mix, so you're not really focusing on them. Rocking out there. Yeah, so just answer. Yeah, Bound to Divide did say that. It's an ad for life insurance. Maybe it is. Maybe she's just like, get your life insurance from me. How did you get? Yeah, so the label reached out to me. They so this is right. There's a bit of a iffy thing with this, right? So I don't know if I should say this. So yeah, the guy who runs Hey4, he used to work at Songspire, which I didn't know until recently. And he reached out to me because apparently he was reaching out to a lot of the artists that had signed to Songspire, which apparently is not a good thing to do. I didn't know that. But the guy who now works at Songspire was not happy about it. And so what happened recently is I tried to get Roots onto one of the Songspire playlists, because he was like, yeah, send me your music even if it's not signed by me, and I'll see if I can get it on. And I sent the song to him, and he's like, you know that, do you not know my relationship with Thingy? He's been trying to steal all of my artists, so I'm sorry, I'm not going to put the song on there. I was like, what the fuck? So I don't know, something fishy's gone on there, but for me, I didn't know. I was just like, I just signed the song to somebody that wanted the song. But yeah, so he reached out to me, essentially, this guy, and kind of sold me the label. He told me about it, and I looked at some of the releases on the label, and there were some that are like by some really good artists. What's his name? Quiver. Let me have a look. Oh, no, it won't be Hey4. What's his name? I think it's Rye. I can't remember. But yeah, there was some big artists on there, and they'd got onto like some editorial playlist, which is sick. So that's like, you know, I was like, yeah, this is good. But yeah, so far the song's done all right. It's not done as well as I thought it would, or as I'd hoped, but it's doing okay. For like, it's only been out like a week or 2 weeks. Oh yeah, you signed with him as well. Yeah, well, he said he wasn't happy with me, which was a bit shit. He was like, yeah, I'm not happy that you signed that track to him. And I was like, I had no idea that you guys had any problem with each other. But then I think he was cool about it. And he was like, yeah, no worries. If you didn't know, you didn't know. And I've had some music signed to Songspire before, that Brightway, or at least his sub-label. But yeah, anyway, don't tell anyone I said this shit. But yeah, I like to be honest. But that is Roots, and I think that's kind of like all I need to show. I've got some stuff coming up. I got a track with with Bound to Divide coming up, if anyone wants to hear that shit. Otherwise, I will go and do some work, I think. Or if anybody has any questions. Any more questions? Or did I miss anything on here? I don't think I did. Anybody want to see anything else, or you're good? You want to see the Bound to Divide track? Okay. I think I might show it on my SoundCloud because I think the project's like really big. Or if I have it just here, that'd be really handy. Yeah, Bound to Divide. Together. This one, I think. My next release is Lone with Monstercat Silk. It's an EP. I have a release coming out every month until July. So I've got an EP with songs with Monstercat Silk. EP with Monstercat Silk next month, or this coming up very soon. And then I've got one with Eaton Messi, which was a label that I signed a bit of my different stuff to, a song called Sidewalking. So I kind of like have there's like that label that I have there in my mind where it's like, if I make something that's a little bit different and not like proper like melodic house, I send stuff to them, and they're a really good label. Like they've been around for a really long time. These guys. I just sent them an email and sent them my music, and I got onto their like compilation thing, and then I've got an EP coming out with them, which has got some breakbeat stuff on. So and then I've got a Colorize release, which has got Other Side, a track called Other Side on, and a track called The Winds. Might be easier if I look like this. And then then 03 has got a bunch of my stuff. We've got this Interstellar track which I've been working on. I've got this which I absolutely love called I Don't Need You. I might show that actually. It's like my favourite. A sneak peek. Yeah. Okay, so this is I'm not going to go through the whole project, but I'll just play a little bit of this. So this is Together, which I did with Bound to Divide. Though I basically did most of the track. I'm going to be completely honest. I did like kind of all of the track, and then he did some nice bits on the piano here, and then some like kind of glitchy warp things. And I think he did a little bit of the mixing. So he just kind of like helped it along the way. But I think I might have done a live stream where I was making this song. I can't remember though. But there's a video somewhere of me making this from scratch. So I'll play it if my CPU is gonna be all right. I've got everything off. All right, so we'll play from here because the track progresses a bit, like the bass changes, which I really like. Or we'll go from this drop. We'll go from here. So this is the Bound to Divide piano progression. It's really beautiful. like that track. It's just like heavy and deep. I sent this to Colorize and they rejected it. They said that they wanted the melodies to progress a bit more. But so then I sent it to Silk and they were like, yep, I love it. And then they've signed it with another track. So it's a collaborative EP that I'm doing. And the other track's pretty different to this, to be fair. But yeah, that's the Bound to Divide release. So this will be out in September, I think. Yeah, really like this one. It's like, yeah, break beats and deep and heavy. It's got a nice vocal. It reminded me of I Miss You, just like there's little vocal chops with the together, and it's from Arcade, the vocal, and then I just kind of made it last through the whole track.
Always together, together.
Yeah, just like if you can't find a vocal, just get a good hook. Just one line or two lines, always together. Like that's enough. Cool. Yeah, man. Yeah, so so I did make the video on New Year's Eve. Okay. So yeah, quite recently. And you guys can check out that if you want to see how I made this entire track or the majority of it. But yeah, the piano that he added is really, really nice. Like he did all this additional, like the passing notes here. The progression I did, but then he's done all this madness here, which works really, really well. And then he did these warps. Where are they? I think it's like... No, not that. I don't know where it is. Yeah, I don't know. Somewhere. Was it this? Oh yeah, glitchy things. This is what he did. Just at the end of the track, just gives it like another little something. Yeah, with the labels, this has gone on way longer than I planned, but oh well, there's people in here and you want to see stuff. So with the labels, like honestly, try not to get discouraged because they really just like, it's really down to their taste. Like it's usually not always down to like your quality of music. Yeah, obviously the quality needs to be good, but it's just like kind of like throwing shit at a wall and seeing what sticks sometimes. Like with some of them, some of the tracks I've got signed, it's like, what? I didn't know you would like that. And even like, yeah, I don't know. It's just you kind of just got to be like, just make a lot of music. Just make so much stuff. Make stuff that's kind of like different and try to not copy other artists. I strongly advise that. Like, just do what you really want to do and what makes you happy. Maybe what you want to do is sound like another artist, then do whatever you want. But you're not really going to stand out. So just try and do something like, just push yourself and do things you wouldn't normally do and make a wide range of music. And then you've got like all these different things. You can send them out to different labels, and maybe one label will reject this, but then you've got another label that will take it. So then you've got like, you won't feel so like lost. You just need to, give yourself enough ammunition, give yourself enough music that you can then distribute it to many different labels. And then you build up a relationship with these labels, and then they start asking you for stuff. And then you get other labels that are reaching out to you that want music off you. And it just like kind of all like snowballs, and you just kind of need that first foot in the door. So just get like one song, but obviously that one song comes after making like hundreds of songs. So yeah, there's no real, I don't really have any like solid advice for like how to find your sound, but I guess it's just like being honest with yourself, like being like, but do I actually really want to make this kind of music? Does it actually make me want to dance? Do I listen to it after I've stopped making the song? Do I go back to it? That's another thing. Like if you don't remember the song or you don't care about it, then sack it off. There's actually a song that I signed to Monstercat Silk that was coming out this summer, and I didn't like it. Like I've cancelled the release because I just like every time I listen to it, I'm like, it's just not giving me any feeling. So like it's good to do that, because then when the song comes out, it's out in the public, and you're like, oh shit, like now that's just on my name. And if I didn't really love it, then like what's the point? Like you need to be able to love everything that you're doing. So everything that I have released now, I really love, and I would listen to it whenever. It's a bit of an egotistical thing, but for me, I got into making music so I could make the stuff that I love listening to. So then I listen to my own music quite a lot, because that's the whole point for me in a way. Like to make something that I love. So then, yeah, I enjoy it. Okay, I'm going to show one more song because I really love this song, and I cannot wait for it to come out. I think it's going to do really, really well. It's with 03, and it's coming out in the summer. So then, yeah, this one here. By the way, 03 are a really nice label. The guy running it, called Jamie, is like really, really nice guy. It has been a bit slow. I signed this track to him ages ago, like last November or maybe the November before. I can't even remember. And it's still not come out. But instead, I've sent him some other stuff. And he's like, yeah, let's go with these two instead first to build my name. And then we're going to release the other stuff because the other stuff's a little bit weaker, I guess. But this track's like a real, it could be a hit, I think. Maybe I'm being a bit big-headed. So yeah, there's this song. Turn it up. I still need to do the final edit of this, but yeah, this is. vocals is actually from the vocal pack that I've released with Emma. It's on my website, so you can go get that if you want. Don't use it.
I must admit, I must admit, you hurt me. You hurt me. Oh, okay.
that, yeah, I hope that track does really well because I really, really love it. All right, so yeah, I think I'm going to wrap it up. Yeah, you wanted to see the Lone track. Nah, it's coming out in like 2 weeks, so you can listen to it then, Karam. All right, I think you would have heard it. It's a, I probably did a video on it. I think all of these tracks I've done a video on. I think this one like a long time ago. Cool. Thank you guys for listening to me chat about myself basically for the last 2 hours. I hope it's been helpful. And yeah, if there's anything that I missed or any questions that you have now before I go, then let me know. But I'm not going to show any more music. I think I've shown quite a lot more than I planned. Yeah, cool. I was supposed to actually do some work today, but I think I'm going to go play some FIFA. No worries. Yeah, thank you everyone, and yeah, glad you enjoyed it. I'll do this again maybe like towards the end of this year after I've had all these releases coming out, and we'll see like where they're at. And if you guys want to ask anything about that stuff, then yeah, I'll be open to. No worries. All right, everybody, have a good week. I'll see you. Oh yeah, sorry. If anybody is not aware, we're doing the 2-week challenge on Monday. So a 2-week challenge, just where you have to spend 2 weeks making a song. You post it into the Discord, which is in the link, I think, in the description. And then you can, here, post the track in there. Everybody gives feedback after the 2 weeks. After the 2 weeks. And it's just a good way to hold yourself accountable and making sure that you're finishing music. So make sure you get involved in that. Everybody can get involved. There's no restrictions or anything like that. And I might give out a prize for like the most accomplished song, the song that feels the most complete. So yeah, make sure you get involved. All right, no worries guys, catch you next time. Peace out. Adios.